Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is July 27th, 2024, and the entourage of Nico Williams are saying that the player could be leaning towards staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao. Also, Barcelona are cooling their interest and pursuit of Mikel Merino. And finally, the club could be finally cashing in on the transfer of Jean-Claire Todibo. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the goal kits, skip back, or fanatics. You have plenty of options. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. Now, begin with the news that Barcelona are confident that they could finally wrap up the Barca Vision deal in the next 6 to 7 days. Now, as you know, the Barca Vision deal was part of that viability plan that Barcelona presented to La Liga, where they promised to meet certain goals to put the club back on a healthy financial course, and in exchange, La Liga would help Barcelona with their financial fair play. Now, Barcelona sold part of Barca Vision to the German investment fund Libero, who failed to make payments. They failed to make payments back in December and now again in the summer, totaling 100 million euros. And as such, Barcelona are behind on their viability plan, and without being able to recover the 100 million euros that they were supposed to get for Barca Vision, they cannot achieve the 1-to-1 rule under La Liga's financial fair play. Now, it's reported that Barcelona are confident that they can finally wrap up this Barca Vision deal, get the 100 million euros that they were supposed to get from Libero in the next 6 to 7 days. And the way that Barcelona are confident that they can do this is that it seems that the club have reached out to their main sponsors, which are Spotify, Nike, Cupra, and Ambilight, in order to ask them to join kind of this incorporation of companies under the name Bridgeport, which then will purchase part of the Barca Vision that was sold initially to Libero, and where all these sponsors can eventually make payments to the club to cover that 100 million euro deficit that Barcelona have as a result of Libero's failure to make payments. Now, Barcelona are confident that they can wrap this up in the next 6 to 7 days, and if they do, they will be able to achieve the 1-to-1 rule. Now, Barcelona did have offers from other companies outside Spain to cover the payments that Libero had failed to make. However, it seemed that Barcelona were more confident in negotiating a new deal with sponsors they already knew and with sponsors that they had already worked with, and that is why they reached out to Spotify, Nike, Cupra, and Ambilight, the 4 main sponsors that Barcelona have. Now, more news, because it's reported that Nico Williams' entourage are saying that the player could be leaning right now, as of today, towards staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao. Now, Nico Williams had said that he did not want any fiascos with his transfer, that if Barcelona could pay his release clause before the deadline of beginning of the preseason for him, that it would be no problem. He would make the move for Barcelona. However, it looks like now this decision is starting to weigh on him, especially after the Euros, where all of a sudden Nico Williams has been catapulted into world star status, and his entourage are now reporting, as Adrian Sanchez broke the story, that right now he could be leaning towards staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao. Now, there was news earlier today saying that PSG were confident that they could close in on a deal for Nico Williams. There is no truth to that report. Nico Williams is only considering 2 options, either staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao or making a move to Barcelona. And right now, his entourage are saying that he could be leaning towards more staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao. Now, this is not final decision. This does not mean that the player will for sure stay at Athletic Club de Bilbao. This is just something that he's considering, because it seems that the decision is weighing heavily on the player. Now, the player will be back in Spain, they're saying, by midweek next week, where he will sit down with his family, discuss his options, and make a final decision, so he could still decide to come to Barcelona. In fact, Barcelona are saying, or people in the club are saying, that they're confident that Nico Williams will agree to join the club. But for now, we're gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully he changes his mind, or hopefully he leans towards Barcelona, because again, his mind has not been made up. This is simply what his entourage are reporting right now, as of today, that he's leaning more towards Athletic Club de Bilbao. Again, this doesn't mean that that's his decision. This is simply what he is thinking about. And hopefully Lamine Yamal can convince him, because as you might recall, the two are vacationing together. Now, more news, because Barcelona are now cooling off their pursuit of Mikel Merino. Now, Mikel Merino was one of the names that Barcelona were considering to reinforce the center midfield position. Of course, Hansi Flick wanted Joshua Kimmich, where Deco wanted Amadou Onana. Onana will end up going to Aston Villa, where Kimmich is out of reach for Barcelona. So it seemed that Mikel Merino was going to be the chosen one to reinforce the center midfield position. But now Barcelona have cooled off their pursuit, and they're no longer considering the signing of Mikel Merino a priority. And the reason for this is that Flick has realized that he has plenty of options on the team to reinforce that position. More specifically is Marc Casado, who just extended his contract with the club and who has been promoted to the first team. And it seems that Hansi Flick is very, very impressed with Casado. He likes the player a lot. He thinks he could be a great option for the center midfield. And of course, there's also Marc Bernal, the future pivot of Barcelona, or that's at least what the club are saying. It looks like Flick is very impressed with Bernal as well, and as such, he has communicated to the club that the signing of a center midfielder is no longer a priority, because he can easily work with both Bernal and Casado in that position, and maybe even Oriol Romeo, who has been impressing Flick during the preseason. So therefore, the main priority will remain Nico Williams and Dani Olmo, with Mikel Merino not really a priority for the club. If the club do end up deciding to sign him, will be towards the end of the market, but they're saying that Arsenal are already in an offer for Mikel Merino, so he could end up staying in the Premier League, or moving to the Premier League, I should say, with Barcelona, again, not considering this signing a priority. Now, we will end this video with the news that Barcelona could be finally cashing in on the transfer of Jean-Claire Todibo. Now, Jean-Claire Todibo's agents are currently in Turin, Italy, trying to finalize a move of Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice to Juventus. And you might say, why do we care? Well, the reason we do is because Barcelona still retain 20% of any future sales in the player. Nice want to sell Todibo for 40 million euros, which means if this transfer is completed, Barcelona will earn 8 million euros from the transfer of Todibo, which, given the financial situation of the club, would be a huge boost for Barcelona's finances. Now, they are reporting that the move of Todibo to Juventus could be a loan for 1 season with an obligation to buy at the end of the season. They're also saying that another option that's being discussed is Juventus paying for the player over 2 years, so 20 million now, 20 million next year. So depending on how this move is completed, that's what will determine how will Barcelona get paid. If it's a 1 season loan with an obligation to buy, Barcelona are not going to get paid the 8 million until next summer. If Juventus end up agreeing on paying for the player in 2 installments this year and next year, then Barcelona will earn 4 million now, 4 million next summer. Of course, this will all depend on the negotiations between Nice and Juventus. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading another video in a few moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, Barça.